Hi, I'm Marvin Anderson, Program Assistant at AIDS United with the Southern HIV Impact Fund, Executive Director of the Stigmocracy Organization, where we empower, educate, and advocate to end HIV stigma against those impacted by HIV, and a proud co-founder of the Southern HIV AIDS Awareness Day. Today, we're streaming from right here in my city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which happens to be right snab in the middle of the Bible Belt. Along with me today in my city of Baton Rouge, we understand that it takes collaborative efforts and teamwork to make the dream work. And so, even here in Baton Rouge, which is a southern city in a very southern state, we understand that Black people are disproportionately impacted by HIV. And so, we all must work together. So, before I get started, I'm going to introduce to you some individuals that are on the ground here with me in Baton Rouge that are doing impactful work and making a difference in HIV in the South, and specifically here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I have with me today Mr. Eugene Collins. Mr. Eugene Collins is the director of the Heart Clinic and also the Baton Rouge NAACP president, who has pioneered as a cisgender ally with the community of those living with HIV as a negative individual to bring an end and an impact to HIV in the South. Please welcome Eugene Collins as here as my support and colleague. And then we have, I call her T Meta, and she is Meta Smith Davis. She's a program director and manager at the Open Health Clinic, and she's also the area co-chair for the Positive Women Network, Louisiana. And we have Kelly Collins. Kelly Collins is our transitional grant area, and she is the chairman of the Ryan White Advisory Council here in Baton Rouge. And last but certainly not least, we have Mr. Cletus Tucker, who is a man of color who's living with HIV, who is also the vice chair of the Baton Rouge Ryan White Advisory Council. So please welcome my colleagues, my friends, and my foot soldiers here in the city of Baton Rouge. And first of all, before we go forward, we have had an amazing and phenomenal past 2 days for the second annual Southern HIV Awareness Day. And I would like to first salute, I'm telling you, a huge salute to the Southern AIDS Coalition team, Daphina and Tori and Mardrigas and Gina and Justine and all of the new family members that are there, which I don't know their names, but I want to say thank you and a salute to you all for doing such an amazing job and for having me on today. And last but not least, I would like to also congratulate the award recipient on yesterday, my brother Aquarius Gilmer, who is the architect of the Southern HIV AIDS Awareness Day, who I've had the amazing pleasure to work with him on this event. So congratulations to you, bro. I want to begin here because I'm standing in a place where we're doing a theme of pursuing the possible and doing the work. Today is a full circle moment for me. I started my journey in this work in HIV and public health right here at this very place as a peer navigator. And so, in doing that, I understood that I had to do more. These people in this room are more than just foot soldiers and colleagues. Mr. Eugene Collins, who I introduced to you earlier, he was the gentleman. When I was fighting with internal stigma and fighting with my story and fighting with coming forth to pursue the possible and do the work, I met with him probably about 16 times, Eugene. And every time I met with him, I would say, so tell me, what's the secret? How do I become an advocate? How do I do this work? And finally, he said, I'm not meeting with you anymore. You just have to do the work. So thank you, Eugene, for meeting with me all of those times. And then we have Kelly Collins, who's in the back. And Kelly was actually my first case manager. And I remember the day, and I'm not crying today. I remember when I came into her office, she said, you're going to do great things in this work. And I wanted to make Miss Kelly proud because she was a case manager that went so far and beyond to make life equitable for me. Miss Kelly, thank you so much for that. And then T Meta is what I call her. I remember she was a part of the team when I was a peer navigator. And I remember I went home, I'd had an experience with stigma, and I was so upset. And I remember she said, you got to turn that into something positive. And there was born Stigmocracy. And I remember going home, sitting on my computer, and I made the logo. And I came back to the office the next day and I said, T Meta, look, this is it. This is what I want to do. And she said, that's amazing. And now Stigmocracy is an established organization. So I am living proof that we can pursue the possible and we can do the work. But I understood that each moment, and if we were going to pursue the possible and do the work, that I must have a strategy and a plan. So today I'm going to share about having a strategy and a plan. But let me tell you a little story. In 1972, the Department of Defense created this system called the Global Positioning System. That system was created to help the troops and to aid them in doing the work that they had to do to protect our country and do all of the things that were necessary. What the system would do is it would all give them geographical areas. It would tell them what was ahead. It would tell them what was an impediment, and it would give them an overview of what they were going to deal with ahead. So it helped them come up with a plan and a strategy to navigate on the route in which they were pursuing. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about that today. If we're going to pursue the possible and if we're going to do the work, we need a plan and we need a path and we're going to need a tool to help us get there. And so, what we're going to need a GPS system. Oh, no, I'm not going to talk about the global positioning system. Today, I'm going to talk about the GPS system that's on the inside of each and every person in this community. We're not doing a call to action that's low level because the truth of the matter is, everyone in this room and everyone that's watching, you're already in action, baby girl. You're already taking action, baby boy. But what I want to talk to you about today is the GPS system that is on the inside of you. The GPS system that we're going to talk about today is guts, purpose, and strategy. That's right, guts, purpose, and strategy. Because if we're going to do this work, we've got to do it with grit and we got to do it with gut. Kind of like my mentor Eugene told me. He said, if you're going to do it, you just got to tighten up your bootstraps and you got to jump out there and do it. And so, for those of us that are doing this work, those of us that are going to pursue the possible, what we must do is we got to be led by our gut. We got to pull from our gut because you know why? It takes guts to be authentic. It takes guts to create change. It takes guts to get on the ground. It takes guts to put boots to the ground. It takes guts. It takes guts to pursue the possible. It takes guts to do the work. And so what you're going to need, and we're going to activate that GPS system. So when we come back from the third annual, it won't be me. It will be somebody else that's doing this call to action. It'll be someone else in the room because you decided that you're going to activate the GPS system that's on the inside of you. So we talk about guts. Guts. It takes guts to show up each day, to do the work that we do all across the South. We are the most disenfranchised population. We're the most marginalized population. They may have forgotten about us, but we have not forgotten about us. And we're going to have the guts to stand up and pursue the possible and do the work. And then we're going to talk about the P in our GPS system. Doing this work takes a posture of purpose. I want to share something with you today. I want to talk to the individual that is watching me today. You received a diagnosis, but I want to let you know HIV or AIDS was not your first diagnosis. Your first diagnosis was purpose. You were created for a purpose. You were created for a plan. You were created for something greater than a diagnosis. And so instead of marginalizing us, how about maximizing us? Instead of disenfranchising us, how about including us? Because we are people of purpose, we are people of passion, and we are people of power. Can I get a witness, somebody? So this is what we must understand, that purpose was our first diagnosis. Why are you talking about purpose, Marvin? Because what I need you to understand is that everybody is not meant to be a peer navigator. Everybody isn't meant to work in HIV. Everybody has a clear purpose. Everybody has a clear plan. What was your dream before you got a diagnosis? What did you think your purpose was before you got a diagnosis? What were you pursuing? What possibility were you thinking about before you got that diagnosis? I want to talk about that today. We've had a lot of programming talking about numbers and statistics and but I don't want to talk about, I want to talk about what's on the inside of you. That GPS system that will cause you to turn over cities with your creativity, with your wit. Because what we won't do is let a diagnosis snatch our purpose. We will not let a diagnosis snatch our creativity. And we will not let a diagnosis snatch the possibilities that we can win while doing this work. That person that I'm talking to today, you're gifted, you're talented, you're amazing, you're awesome. But somewhere along the way, the stigma that we encounter in the South has silenced you. Today, I want to activate that GPS system. Someone in the South, you have been stilled by stigma internally. But I want to tell you, it's okay. I flew under that radar too. But it was a day and a moment that I realized that I had to stand up in my truth and use those guts in the GPS system so that I could pursue this purpose. And then I want to talk about the strategy. Doing this work, we talk about strategy and structure and how we can do this and how we can amass and arise above the circumstances and the situation that we face, specifically in the South. I'm talking to the South today, and I'm glad our guests and our family members have come to the family reunion, but today I'm talking to the South. And I'm talking to the South because as Black people, we are disproportionately affected. We make up about 21% of the population of the South, but 54% of new diagnoses, that should not be so. So what do we have to do? We have to get a strategy. But I come to challenge us to your order of business because I've been hearing this a lot, T Meta, about a strategy. And I've been hearing a lot about getting to the table. Where everyone is in here today is sitting at a table. But what are we going to do when we get to the table? Well, let's talk about this. There are many purposes and there are many spaces and there are many operations that we do at the table. I want to challenge you that if you do get a seat at a table, it's time to shake the table. I said it's time to shake the table. I said it's time to shake the table. Shaking the table means that we're not going for the okie doke. Shaking the table means that we're going to demand equity. Shaking the table means that I didn't come here to conform. I didn't come here to be a part of your club. I didn't come here just to fit in, but I came to shake some things up. Shaking the table. But you know what? We focused on that, focused on taking the table. But let's talk about inner community in our own community. You know what? Let's keep it 100. Everybody ain't gonna sit at the table. But if we can learn as we pursue the possible and do the work to respect the lanes, to understand that Eugene may sit at the table, but Meta may set the table. I may bring the table in, but it's okay because if we all work collectively to pursue the possible and do the work, we can end the HIV epidemic in the South. We can do this work. We can culminate. We can make something happen. We can put a dent in this thing. But I want to talk about a special group of people right now. You know why these people are in this room with me? Because this wasn't just my moment. This is a community event. This is a clarion call. This is a reunion. This is an empowering moment for those of us that are living in the South. Yes, you social worker. Yes, you case manager. Yes, you executive director. Yes, you the individual. All of you, yes, you. All of you individuals who are out there that are doing this work. Yes, you capacity building assistant. Yes, you. Yes, you that are going out for work. Yes, you peer navigator. Yes, you community outreach worker. But I want to talk to a special group. I want to talk to you today, and I want to tell you that they don't have to give you a seat at the table. And you may not want to shake a table. This just may not be your thing. You just might not, be hood a little bit like me. Right? You may be a little polished, and that's okay. But there's one more option you have, and that's to be a table builder. That's to be a table builder. And a table builder goes down in their gut and they find the passion to pursue the purpose, to pursue the abilities, to do the work that will help dent and bring an end and empower individuals in the South to rise above this thing that we know is an epidemic. Can I tell you something? There's another epidemic we must talk about today. And that epidemic is called stigma. Stigma is the new epidemic. We must talk about disenfranchisement. We must talk about misogyny. We must talk about patriarchy. We must say and stand in unison and say, yes, Black trans lives matter. We must say that. We must say that our sisters and our brothers of trans experience, that we stand in alignment with them in the work that we do. Strategy. But when we talk about table builders, I'm talking about this because I want you to understand that, like myself, I didn't think there was a place in this work for me. I was rejected by some, welcomed by others, and I thank you for that. But I had to realize that I can sit at a table, but I could also build a table. You know what I want to do right now? I want to give you some examples. And I want to give you a template of what a table builder is. Because it's not just my day. I want to talk about the table builder, the counter narrative project in Atlanta, Georgia with Charles Stevens. I want to talk about table builder, Life Inc. in Jackson, Mississippi with Tamika Martin. I want to talk about my brothers at Thrive SS in Atlanta who are table builders. Larry Scott Walker and Dwayne Bridges and Daniel Driffin stood up one day and said, we're going to build our own table. That was a word that that's what they said. Table builders, brothers in Convoy in Florida, Daniel Downer. To Know Is to Live in Houston, Texas, Shaddam McCants. Table builders, My Sister's House in Memphis, Kayla Gore. Table builders, A Normal Anomaly in Houston, Ian Haddock. The Foundations for Living in Georgia with Minister Sandy Belly. He is valuable in Atlanta. What's up, Richard Hutchinson? Trans Solutions with Marissa Miller. Nights and Orchids in Selma, Alabama with Q Bell. The table builders are all in the South. Q Latinx, Latinos in the South. Red Door Foundation, which is regional. Dr. Marvin Terry is what I call him. Game Changers in Birmingham with Tony Christian Walker, Gender Benders and Take in Birmingham. So do you need any more to understand that you can pursue the possible and you can do the work and you don't have to be put in kind of compartment and you don't have to be minimized, you don't have to be marginalized, but you can maximize, you can be, you can become, you can pursue the possibilities. So my question to you today is, will you imagine what's possible? Will you take a moment to take your energy back from trying to sit at a table and use that energy to go build your own? Yeah, us, by us. We're all we've got. We are a Southern community. This is the Southern solution, and this is the call to action. I am calling us to dig down deep and use our GPS system. Get it from the gut. Operate your purpose and strategy. And remember, your first diagnosis was purpose. And then we're going to create our own strategy. And we're going to find what table option belongs to me. Thank you so much. I'm Marvin Anderson. Thank you again to the Southern AIDS Coalition. Thank you so much again to my new family at AIDS United, and that I am so proud to be there, led by Black people that look like me. Thank you so much to all of my colleagues and guests who are here today. And again, thank you, Southern AIDS Coalition. Gilead Compass, and all of the individuals that made this amazing 2 days phenomenal. I'm Marvin Anderson. Go build your table.